Good, happy Tuesday evening, February 18, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Tuesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, so let's begin. First up, we begin on the storm watch this evening. Winter weather throughout the day. With that weather video, let's take a look at meteorologist Kevin Skarupa.
So I want my glasses to be unique. My girlfriend loves artists. And I need a conservative pair because her parents hate artists.
Find your perfect pair and enjoy up to 40% off lenses with a frame purchase. Schedule your eye exam at pearlvision.com.
Winter weather advisories continue into the afternoon as the light snow will try to transition over to a light wintry mix and then rain in southern parts of the state, while farther north it hangs on as snow a little bit longer, and that will mean a little bit more accumulation for central and northern areas out of the system. Main push of the snow will continue to fall between now and early evening before eventually lightening up. And we are looking at some milder air trying to push in across southern areas thanks to a southerly and southeasterly breeze this afternoon, which will try to transition that over to light rain. So you can clearly see here how Futurecast paints this through the afternoon. Slick conditions expected, especially north and west of Concord and Manchester this afternoon, as temperatures slowly work their way up into the lower half of the 30s. You will notice in central parts of the state, even by 5 o'clock, still snowing there. And that means that that's your better potential for over 4 or 5 inches of accumulation out of this system before it all wraps up around 9 or 10 o'clock this evening. Quick clearing overnight will drop temperatures back from the mid-20s to mid-30s, a few slick spots early tomorrow morning. And then a pretty good breeze out of the northwest tomorrow will continue to dry things out. Temperatures will be in the 30s, but then we slip back temperature-wise. Highs will be in the teens and 20s with sunshine on Thursday after a colder start. And it looks like we could be sub-zero again in quite a few locations early on Friday before getting back into the low and mid-20s in the afternoon. That'll be the beginnings of yet another warming trend. This is the way the winter has gone after a couple of very cold days. We turn milder again, and will likely do so over the weekend with mainly fair skies. This could be an extended period of fairer skies, which could last at least through the beginning and middle of next week before any sort of weather system attempts to affect us. 30s this afternoon with the snowfall continuing to move through. Again, for the afternoon, a mix over to rain in southern parts of the state and trying to lift northward before wrapping up early this evening. Beyond that, we drop back between 25 and 35 overnight tonight. 30s tomorrow, but there'll be an extra bite to the air thanks to that west and northwesterly breeze. As far as accumulation, again, lesser amounts in southern areas of the state because of a quicker changeover, and where we remain locked in with snow through about 5 or 6 or even 7 o'clock this evening before wrapping up, there is the potential of over 5 or 6 inches of accumulation, especially up in elevation through the White Mountains. There's the cool down after temperatures in the 30s tomorrow, only to see us warm back up again over the weekend.
Okay, and there you go on that weather video from meteorologist Kevin Skarupa. And New Hampshire State Police, they posted a few things on their Facebook page today. And here's what some of the troopers said about today. Today, troopers from Troop A responded to 20 vehicles off the road between 10 o'clock a.m. to 2 p.m. on Interstate 95 and Route 16. Please slow down and drive for the road conditions. Minor motor vehicle crash on I-93 northbound in Bow. Many of our New Hampshire roadways are slick and snow-covered. Please drive responsibly. Please reduce your speed, increase the following distance, move over for emergency vehicles, and do not crowd the plows. Avoid hard braking, turn on your headlights, and buckle up. Clean all snow and ice from your vehicle. very important. Thank you, New Hampshire State Police, for those tips. We love it. And let's take a look at your traffic map and see what the road conditions look like right now on your traffic map. And as you can see, it's going to be a slow-going ride this evening due to that freshly snowfall that's been falling throughout the day, so take it easy. Roads are slick and lots of traffic issues, as you can see, so if you're driving home from work or wherever you are, then just take it easy, follow the rules of the road when it comes to slippery conditions, and you'll eventually get to your destination. And now let's get to your news. Reward offered in search for man convicted in officer's death. Officials say they believe Kevin Paul had help leaving state. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
Good afternoon, Sean. That reward, $2,500 for information leading to the arrest of Kevin Paul. Now, Kevin Paul was paroled back in September, but the last time his parole officer spoke to him was back on February 9th, and now a warrant has been issued for Paul's arrest. On the 9th, Paul told his parole officer that his GPS monitoring bracelet was no longer working. That was the last time any officials had contact with him. In August of 1997, Paul watched as his friend shot Officer Jeremy Sharon. In the ensuing chase, Paul fired shots at police and robbed a store at gunpoint. Now, the U.S. Marshal's Office says based on Paul's history, he should be considered armed and dangerous. Paul described as 5'9", 200 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. And officials believe that Paul has left the state, and he may be in one of these three cars with the out-of-state plates. The Marshal's Office also thinks that Paul had help in leaving the state and warns that anyone who is helping him could face charges. Now, if you have any information about Paul, you're asked not to approach him. Instead, get in touch with the U.S. Marshal's Office or your local police department. Reporting live in Concord, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire House passes bill to let New Hampshire college athletes be paid. Bill now moves to New Hampshire Senate. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
The last podcast on the left has long been a haven for all things hilariously horrifying. We invite you to join.
Members of the State House of Representatives have passed a bill that would let college athletes in New Hampshire be paid. The legislation is modeled after a law signed in California last year that lets student athletes seek compensation for their name, image, and likeness. The bill now heads to the state Senate, and if passed, it would take effect in 2022.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Lamborghini crashes in Malden after luxury car heist, police say. Surveillance camera records mount of crash. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB. Matt Reed, Boston.
My business inspires me to search the world for new flavors. That's why I carry the City Business Advantage Platinum Select Card. Every dollar I spend on my business turns into miles that feed my taste for adventure.
Antoinette, at last check, 2 people had been detained by Wayland police. 1 person was in custody by Malden police, and 1 person was still on the run after 2 Lamborghinis were stolen and crashed in this intersection.
It's the video you saw first on 5. 2 stolen Lamborghini SUVs crashing on Pearl Street in Malden. You can see one of the occupants running out of the white Lamborghini. Malden police say they arrested one of the suspects after the crash, but that one is still on the loose.
I don't know if he made it across Charles Street. He got to one of these yards right here.
This all started around 3 a.m. when Wayland police were notified about a break-in at the Herb Chambers Lamborghini dealership. Police believe the suspects used this large rock to smash their way in.
From what we can gather is they broke in, they were able to obtain some keys from an area. They were able to remove the keys, take the cars that were in the front lot.
A responding Wayland police officer arrived on scene and saw the 2 Lamborghinis in a 3rd vehicle heading eastbound on Route 20.
One of my officers was able to stop a car that possibly was involved in the break. We have 2 individuals that we're currently detaining at the police station.
5 hours later, the 2 Lamborghinis and 1 suspect were found after the crash, but police and canine officers were seen searching nearby streets and backyards for the 2nd suspect, who is still unaccounted for.
And so far, there's no description of that suspect police are still looking for. We're live in Malden. Matt Reed, WCVB News Center 5. All right.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Elderly woman found dead inside Maine home. Husband found unresponsive, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
Up until recently, people were meeting people everywhere without apps. There is still hope for those of you who want to skip the messaging and meet people in real life.
Police in Hamden police are investigating after an elderly woman was found dead in her home on Kennebec Road. The woman's husband was found unresponsive and taken to the hospital. We don't know much else right now, but we will have an update on air and online as the information comes into the newsroom.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at that U.S. stock market and see how the U.S. stock market closed for this Tuesday evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market for this Tuesday evening. Dow falls for a 3rd day, dropping 165 points after Apple's coronavirus warning. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell for a 3rd consecutive day on Tuesday as investors weighed a stark warning from tech giant Apple. Boy Scouts organization filed for bankruptcy, ABC News. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Now to that breaking news involving the Boy Scouts, the 110-year-old organization now filing for bankruptcy as they face hundreds of sex abuse lawsuits. Gio Benitez is here with the details. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, the Scouts say they intend to use the Chapter 11 process to create a victims' compensation trust. Their president saying, quote, "The BSA cares deeply about all victims of abuse and sincerely apologizes to anyone who was harmed during their time in scouting." Now, they also say scouting programs will continue for their nearly 2.2 million members. Now, this comes after more than a dozen states passed laws making it possible for sex abuse lawsuits to be filed regardless of when the alleged abuse occurred. The Boy Scouts now call their youth safety measures the strongest and most effective policies found in any youth-serving organization. But guys, what a big headline overnight.
Huge. Yes. Thank you both. Hi, everyone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all enjoyed watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.